The first way to find out the specific thing that God has called you to do is to ask God what He has called you to do. That was point number one of how to find God's specific will for your life, because it is through God that you will find it. Stay tuned for point number two. Hello, how you doing? This is OJ Talks here. Welcome to part 6 to how to find God's will for your life. I was sharing 7 guidelines that will help you find God's will for your life. And by God's will, I mean God's specific will for your life. The first point is that it's through God that you will find it. Number 2, you will have a heart for it. You will have a heart for it. In Acts chapter 7, verse 23, quoting from the New King James Version, the Bible says, when Moses was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. So it came into his heart. Moses, of course, was called to lead them out of Egypt. That was the specific thing that God called Moses to do. But it came into his heart. Therefore, the thing that God has called you to do, you will have a heart for it. In other words, you have a desire, a passion, a zeal for it. You will have a longing for it. Don't underestimate your desire. Don't neglect the desires of your heart. What God has called you to do, it will be in your heart. But you might argue, I'm like, Tokes, I have no passion. I have no desires. I have no longing. There's nothing in my heart that I'm interested in doing. Are you sure? Because a lot of times when we think about purpose and will and what we're supposed to do with our lives, more often than not, we think of something grandiose, something larger than life. It could just be a hobby or something simple or something that we perceive as simple, but it could be what it is that God has called you to do. So check your heart. What are your passions? What are your desires? But you might still argue that, Tokes, trust me, I have nothing in my heart. There is nothing. Zero. I have zero desires. I have zero zeal. I have nothing that I'm interested in. Relax, I'm not done yet. Because you know what? In Acts 7:23, the passage I just quoted, we are not only told what came into Moses' heart. We are told when it came. The scripture says, when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. So we are told that the desire to lead the Israelites started with Moses having the desire to be with them, to visit them, to see what was going on with them. But it also told us when it happened, when he was 40 years old. The New American Standard Bible actually says it like this, that when he was approaching 40, it entered his mind. Friend, if you have no desire for anything, guess what? God has not put it in your heart yet. Which brings me to point number 3. There is a time for it. There is a time for it. Remember, I told you that the generic will of God is timeless, but the specific thing is time specific. The reason you don't have any desire or passion, zeal or longing for anything is because God has not placed it in your heart yet. So relax, have a Coke and a smile. It's okay. Just walk in the generic stuff. Build your character. Get to know God. You can do that right now. As you do that, continue that. When the time is right, it will enter your mind. It's not time yet. That's why you have no desires. In fact, one of the challenges that we face in trying to find the will of God for our lives is something that I'll tell you about next week.